I mailed myself a love letter yesterday. I can't wait to get it back to see what's going on in my life and to see how my relationship with myself is developing. Yesterday I learned of all my faults and casualties. Tomorrow I'll come to grips with how great I am. And next week I will begin teaching courses in coolness where water will enroll itself to learn how to become ice cubes. When I'm 35, I may run for president. Bringing back the goatee is the symbol of a good leader. I'll be the first president of the United States of America to get elected without a campaign budget, but instead with the help of small woodland animals who control the winds of change. I will have Gomez, Jurassic 5, Neil Diamond, Talib Kweli, Ani DeFranco, Henry Rollins, and the entire Denver Poetry Slam scene play at my inauguration. The White House will serve top ramen 24 hours a day on tap. If I could change my name to Robin Hood, I would steal from the rich and give to the poets. I would wear tights and people would finally understand me. Deep down, I'm a ballerina with a penchant for romance novels, late-night television, and fuzzy slippers. Yesterday, I felt like a singer with a song I couldn't sing. Today, I'm a father who will never have children. And tomorrow, rest inside a full night's sleep for a planet of 6 billion lovers and fighters who love to fight about everyone else on the planet. Some time ago, I promised myself I would keep writing. No matter my financial status, no matter how hard life hit me, I would always put it down on paper. Whether it was in letters to women who never knew I loved them, or in memos begging the phone company to let me continue to reach out and touch those who've grabbed me and held me in ways never really seen by human eyes. Give me 1 week, and I promise I'll send partial payment. In words and paragraphs. It's not easy to convince a corporation to accept a stack of poems as an IOU. I should know because I've never tried. Some years ago, I promised myself I would never settle for average or mediocre, and I would always try to find the best and worst within myself, so I'd be able to work the two out so they could learn from each other. It's one thing to say that I'm worthy of love. It's another thing to say that I'm worthy of my own. Here I am, with all this love to give, and it seems as though I'm still trying to find myself, so I know who to give it to. I've lived a life with such varied confidence. So I mailed myself a love letter yesterday. It was just a dress rehearsal so that I would know how to respond to the women who've told me that I'm ugly, or I'm a great friend, or I'm just like one of the girls. I've learned to deal with it, but now it's time to play with the hands that I've been dealt. I know I'm not tall, dark, and handsome, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And now you're wondering which 2 I'm talking about. But I only need one woman to figure that out on her own. Most women say all they really want is a man with a good sense of humor. Liars! All of them! In reality, I'm just the right height for a man who loves life. When you stack badass at 5 feet 6 inches, I'm all you need. But if I'm gonna find a girl that digs me with life's biggest shovel, then I'm just gonna have to learn to dig myself first. Yay!
Have you ever seen a Viking ship made out of popsicle sticks and balsa wood, coils of brown thread for the miniature ropes? Oars made out of chopsticks and a red and yellow sail made from a baby's footy pajamas? I have. He died with his sword in his hand and so went straight to heaven. The Vikings often buried their bravest warriors in ships, or set them adrift and on fire, a floating island of flame, the soul of the brave warrior rising slowly with the smoke. In order to understand life in Scandinavia in the Middle Ages, you have to understand the Viking ship. So here's what I want you to do. The entire class must build me a miniature Viking ship. You have a month, and you must work together like warriors. These are the projects that I am known for as a history teacher, like the Egyptian Pyramid Project. Have you ever seen a family of 4 gathered around a card table after dinner, each member of the family holding one triangular side of a miniature cardboard Egyptian pyramid until the glue finally dried? I haven't either, but Mrs. Steinberg said that even with one brother on one side saying, "This is dumb, Tony. This is a dumb project. You're going to fail this project. If I get Mr. Mali next year, my pyramid's going to be much better than this." And Tony on the other side saying, shut up, you little guy. No, don't let go until the glue dries or I'm going to kill you." It was the best family time that they had spent since Christmas. He died with his sword in his hand, and so went straight to heaven, which the Vikings called Valhalla. Mr. Mali, if that's true, if you died with your sword in your hand, you went straight to Valhalla, then if you were like an old Viking and you were going to die of old age, could you keep your sword right by your bed, so if you felt like you were going to die, you could reach out and just grab it? If I were a Viking god, I don't think I would fall for that. But if I were a Viking, that's exactly what I would do. Tony Steinberg had been missing from school for 2 months before we finally found out what was wrong. And then the 12 other boys in the classroom whispered the name of the disease as if you could catch it from saying it too loud. We'd been warned. The middle school head had come to class and said that Tony was going to try to come to school on Friday morning for a visit, but he's had a rough time. The medication he is taking has made all of his hair fall out, so nobody point, nobody stare, and nobody laugh. I always said that I liked teaching in a private school because I could talk about God in the classroom and not be breaking the law. And for an Episcopalian kid who only went to church on Christmas and Easter, I sure talk about God a lot in the classroom. Yes, in history class, that's easy. I mean, even the Egyptian Pyramid Project is essentially a spiritual undertaking, but how can you teach geometry and not believe in a God of perfect mathematical planes and geometric points, a God surrounded by archangels and right angles of varying degrees? Such a God would not give cancer to a 7th grade boy. Such a God would not make his hair fall out from chemotherapy, totally bald on a Friday morning in a jacket and tie. And I don't just mean Tony Steinberg. Not one single boy in my class had hair. The other 12 had all shaved their heads in solidarity. Have you ever seen 13 bald-headed 7th graders in jackets and ties, all pointing at each other, all staring at each other, and all laughing? It is a beautiful sight, almost as striking as 12 7th grade boys, 6 weeks later, now with crew cuts, outside the synagogue, holding hands, heads bowed, circled around the smoldering remains of a miniature Viking ship, the soul of the brave warrior rising slowly with the smoke.